The great thing about the current Twist rule set is that there are no neutral cards, which lets us abuse Discover effects that previously could hit neutrals, but now they're only able to hit class cards. So this Shaman deck is looking to abuse that interaction with Glaciate, a 6-mana spell that discovers and summons an 8-cost minion and freezes it. Well, it turns out there are only 3 minions Shaman can summon with this card, one of which is Blightblood Berserker, a giant taunt wall with a bunch of healing attached to it as well. Being able to cheat this card out 2 turns early against a druid that's trying to punch you in the face, against a mage that's trying to machine gun everything down, is very effective. I'm also playing Wrathspine Enchanter in this deck, a 7-mana minion that casts a Frost, Fire, and Nature spell from the hand. So that can cast Glaciate for us, and 1/3 of the time it'll hit the Blightblood Berserker. The other 2 targets are pretty decent as well. We've also got Don't Stand in the Fire to clear the opponent's board, but more importantly we've also got Vivid Spores. It gives all of our minions a death rattle that resummons that minion, so particularly good on Blightblood Berserker, just making a massive wall that most decks can't deal with. But we've also got all sorts of evolve stuff in this deck that we can revive. It can give us a ton of stats in this deck. I think this deck actually might low-key be pretty good, because the amount of stats it can put in play is just way too much for Mage and Druid to deal with. Druid? I think Wildpaw Cavern is potentially just the best card in the game against this Druid deck, so I'm going to keep it. I don't actually know if Schooling is that good, but I'll keep it. It's good with Convincing Disguise as well. I guess I'm just playing 3 fish here. And then we play the game winner next turn. It's definitely possible for them to have, like, Break, and they can have Owl. Definitely ways to deal with these breezy minions. But it's pretty hard to deal with 3, or with my hand even 6 of them in a row. Tiny Toys. Very mediocre hand, to be honest. There's my Glaciate for next turn. Alright. Glaciate on 6, Tiny Toys evolve on 7, maybe. And then I can also have the Muck Pools for whatever Tiny Toys gets. Alright. It's also possible that I would want to play Wildpaw Cavern next turn. I mean, if my Blightblood Berserker is still just sitting here, I probably don't want to evolve it. So, very decent chance of Wildpaw Cavern. God, look at this beautiful Berserker. Pretty sure I don't want to evolve it. I'm still expecting this Blood Berserker to heal for 12, or 11, I guess, since I'm at 19. Okay. Only healed for 9 instead of 11. But now I think it's time for tiny toys. I think I'm actually down to trade one of these off here so I can keep a stag in play. Lots of stinkers here. Probably turn the 5/4 into an 8. The 8 could be anything, even a Blight Blood Berserker. Oh, that's pretty good as well. Alright, should be impossible to die here with my opponent being frozen. Love to see that card being played for armor. Oh, Vivid Spores. Probably Bogspine Knuckles first, but then we can Vivid Spores after. I don't have lethal, do I? 37. I have this for 10. So my opponent's at... Wait, I probably just have lethal. Oh no, I was assuming I could play a Bogspine Knuckles on top of this. Oh, it's still lethal though. As I calculated, it was still lethal. Farsight's an okay card to keep. Alright, there's some fuel for my disguise. Not really the hit I was looking for. But it is fuel for Convincing Disguise. And I do have 2 Convincing Disguise, so maybe I can play one of them on turn 5 with Crud Caretaker. I guess I just play this thing, whatever. Might just play one of these as a targeted spell. I don't know, we'll see what Instructor Fireheart does. A bunch of garbage. Cool. Oh, that's a hell of a minion. Sure. Alright, I've got a lot of stats in play. And I think I'm pretty unlikely to be getting comboed this turn. Alright, well I've got some reload. It does get rid of my Mida. Oh, that's a good card. I think Tiny Toys is the superior plan though. Hey, I got a Blightblood Berserker anyway. Beautiful. I've got a ton of stats in play, but they've played 2 Incanter's Flows, so who knows, they could play a million cards this turn. That's a good start for me, though. Hey, that's the best draw on my deck. Alright, that's probably a game-winning Vivid Spores. My board is just way too big to power through now, I think. We'll see, though. I think I'm between like 108 and 112 health. No. 108 and 132, depending on how much the Blightblood Berserkers actually heal. No, 108 and 120. I have a lot of fucking health. Looks like this first Blightblood Berserker's probably not going to heal for anything, though, so looking closer to 108. Hey, there's one healing for it. Oh, I actually didn't have board space to get the Reborned Berserker, I think. So I missed out on a little bit here. Probably doesn't matter that much. You know, I was worried about surviving, but my opponent might be dead. No, they're definitely not dead. I'm once again worried about surviving. Oh, I don't know if you should have traded that card. I think hard casting this might be better than playing Wrathspine Enchanter. The Berserker is just so much better than Alakir or the other thing. The Berserker is lethal if it goes face. Can't say I love my odds, though. I've seen both solid alibis, though, so as long as I just don't die, I could also draw Bogspine Knuckles. Oh. Well, they have to win this turn. Wow, I'm just dead because of the insane spread they got there. Wait. I don't get the lifesteal off that? Surely I should win there, right? If my minion does damage, I should get the healing. Right? I got scammed, right? Shaman is pretty scary. Of the 4 meta decks, I think this is probably my worst matchup. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Pretty good cards. Wow. This might be the 4 best cards in my deck. I don't really want to volunteer to take damage in this matchup, I think. So, I'll lose 1 attack on my minion to keep 3 health on my hero. I think that's pretty worth it. That is a really good jam sesh. Good strength totem. I do have Wrathspine Enchanter with my Good Fire and Good Frost cards. Not sure if I'll be willing to hold the Glaciate for 2 turns. Depends what the board state looks like. It's actually a pretty scary 3-drop they just got. Cards that didn't start in your deck cost 2 less. Pretty mediocre Bog Spine, but whatever. I think that minion was scary. Just like its stats were scary, and then its effect was also scary. Okay, well that makes it way easier to hold the Glaciate. Come on, chatty bartender, that kind of looked like a secret. Why didn't you deal 2 damage? Seven cost. I think they can always hit Glug when that's 7. So this does 10. My opponent's board has 14. I guess there's no way to do math to guarantee the Glug dies. So it just gains any stats. Alright, Alakir is fine. Oh, we killed Glug. Nice. I don't know how to trade here. Probably try to keep things out of Perpetual Flame range, maybe? So Alakir is the only Glaciate target that could attack next turn, which is cool. Not sure if it's better than the Blightblood Berserker, but, you know, not bad. Sick. Did I queue into Battlegrounds? What is this portrait? Is this not a Battlegrounds looking portrait? What the hell is Warlock in this format? Is it quest? I mean, everything is quest, right? Triple Piranha's pretty good into Zoo next turn. Is Zoo good in this format? Maybe it is. I don't know. The mages probably deal with the minions pretty easily. Maybe the demon hunters and the shamans struggle? I don't know. Zoo's probably just bad, right? I'm making 3/4s. Probably rather just kill a 3/2 and leave a 1/1 in play. A 2/1 even. I have Bogspine Knuckles next turn, but with my turn 6 being Glaciate, I don't actually know if I want to play it. I guess if my 3/4 lives, I probably will. That's an awfully scary minion. Probably want to go Sleep Breaker here. I think I take too much damage if I play the weapon. That was really strong. Oh wow, I almost died here. Should probably freeze this actually. Prevent this from, or make it harder to one-shot this, so it gets more healing. I wouldn't expect them to play any burst damage that can kill me through this. Another Glaciate. That's probably better than playing Vivid Spores. Wrathspine Enchanter to go with my Vivid Spores. Might be better off just playing Vivid Spores plus something like Crud Caretaker. Alright, I do think this game is probably over. Unless they can have like Symphony of Sins maybe. They really like that Librarian, huh? I feel like you could have at least traded the 3/1 there. Do I have lethal? Did I have lethal last turn? I didn't even calculate with Bogspine Knuckles. I don't believe it's lethal though. I guess I'm evolving this. Sure, what a very reasonable minion. Cool. That first Berserker probably could have gone face, but whatever. Very nice. I think as soon as I landed the Vivid Spores, that game was over.